Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Time is but a window, and you guys are in for something special today. This might actually be the best single-person performance of all time. Now, this is a pro game, and the player that we're going to be watching is WorldEdit. And just to show you how insane this game actually was, here's some stats to show off the kills. Now, as you can see, WorldEdit had 37 kills, but what makes this game special is that he did it in only 18 rounds. Yes, 18 rounds. That means he averaged over 2 frags per round every single round throughout the entire game. And with that being said, let's find out how he did it. Now, another really interesting thing about this game is not only was he so dominant, but the other team won the knife round, so they get to choose which side they wanted first, which put them on the terrorist side. Now, while his teammate holds for the inside push, he actually pushes his way down towards ladder to make sure nobody is pushing up aggressively on T mid. The thing is that his teammate goes down because somebody from the inside bomb site decides to push through not only for information, but to flank. While he is able to pick his teammates, since he doesn't fall back, he ends up coming down the ladder and has a disadvantage up against WorldEdit right here. Then the strat executes. 2 of his teammates push out middle, one of them starts pushing down Ivy, and he pushes out from ladder room as they pinch the site. I don't think there's too much we can learn from this other than he's got incredible aim. On the next round, they throw a little bit of a fake as he throws a smoke outside and they hit inner. Now, for the most part, at the beginning of this, it looks like he's playing hyper-aggressive and just showing no fear. Even on this next round, it looks like he throws very little utility, just throwing a nade before going out there. His teammates smoke off back red train and they just push out. As you can see, his playstyle is very different than Device's as he sits out in the open far more often and really didn't have a fallback there. Now on the next round, they do have one guy going Ivy to keep them honest, but for the most part, it's just a hard inner take. Notice how he's able to exploit this smoke and push around the gap. So as you can see, the guy over by Ivy is going to be throwing a smoke from blue container. Meanwhile, his team sets up for an inside take, but he doesn't actually peek the ramp until his teammate flashes out for him. Now he just holds connector and waits for rotation while his teammates execute out the top. Afterwards, he sets up in a more aggressive positioning, but by this point they've already won the round. On this round, they note the other team is saving. They use minimal utility, mostly just Molotovs to keep the CTs at bay and keep them from pushing up. This gives them long-range battles, and with an AWP and AKs, they should be able to outshoot Deagles or other pistols. Here you can see they immediately throw off utility to look like they're executing outside. Now as you can see, CT Hell is actually smoked off from peeking him, so he doesn't have to worry about lower, so when he jumps up here, all he has to do is watch that top part of the train and over to the right in case someone pushes. This is a way to simplify things so he doesn't have to have such a ridiculous shot, but honestly, he has a pretty ridiculous shot. Once his teammate rotates off, he drops to the bottom and close to the left wall so he can get away easily and picks towards the bottom. Notice that he is exposed from the top of the train, and that would have been a hard flick shot for him. After his teammate gets one more pick, they realize that it probably forced the rotation from inner, and they decide to rotate and take inner. Notice he's setting up the same way, watching for the rotation. On the next round, they're taking outer, and as you can see, they smoke off lanes and smoke off connector, and he tries to work a pick. As you can see, he overextends himself, trying to peek this guy over to the right. I think he should have probably asked his teammate to peek him while he continued to hold and wait for any pushes. Not the guy that was in Z connector, but the guy that was over there in terrorist hell. He could just peek out and clear to the right really quickly, and then go back to looking over towards CT hell. Here they decide to throw an inner fake, and WorldEdit actually rotates back and goes out ladder. His team smokes off lanes, but not connector, forcing them to peek out if they want to have easy shots on them. WorldEdit actually stays ladder in case of a flank, but once his teammate dies, he peeks out and holds the angle. Again, they know they're on eco round and they're using very little utility, just out picking them at range. This is really one of those teams that seems to highly rely on their individual skill. Oh, check out the slippery jiggle peek here. The reason he peeked it the way he did is because he was caught off guard and knew he was at a disadvantage if he just went for the shot. That's why he slipped back in and then went for the repeat. Luckily for WorldEdit, he actually is a pretty good hybrid, and you can see here that he dropped the AWP for the AK to pick up this clean, easy kill, so that if this guy actually wide peeks or peeks in a way he doesn't expect, he doesn't have a chance to die here. 8-1, their confidence is just going through the roof right now, and they decide to do a hard inner take. This happens the same way every time, with WorldEdit coming down the lower ramp like this and holding the angle. After his teammate goes down, he wants to assist the other teammate, and because of that, he almost actually gets killed. Of course, he's freaking amazing, so he has an awesome recovery and kills both of them. Though part of me wonders if it might not have been a smarter move to just let his second teammate kill that guy over to the right while he sat there and held towards connector. So here you can see they're making their way towards inner, and his teammates are actually pushed up a little bit, but one of them gets picked from lower, so he knows that there's one there at least. While this first peek is great, the second one's high risk. You can even see Shazam shoots first. I think if you want the highest probability for a good outcome, you should flash before re-peeking that before taking inner, because if you do get a second pick there, or you make him fall back into sight, chances are you'll have the sight anyways. Oh, and now he's just gonna watch connector for a while. Look at that smooth little jumping jiggle peek he does. This is absolutely great for baiting out a shot and not giving them a real good chance to shoot you. Same with the smoke, but I wonder if he can peek him from blue container over the top without him seeing. Here we go with the inner take. He's just fucking nuts. There's barely anything you can learn from that, but let's go over it anyways. So he's holding connector as usual at the beginning of the round, and his teammate goes down to the right. So he peeks it like he did prior to this and misses the shot. Now they're actually in a bad situation here if they don't get access to this site right now. So he obviously pushes in with the pistol to guarantee that they have the site. Then, of course, he hit a nutty shot towards the guy over there towards back train, and then he hits a nice nutty shot to the guy on top of back left train. Now here, Ivy has been compromised. I know they've pushed through and they've killed two of their teammates, so here he's going to ask for a boost so he can peek from an unexpected angle. Now this is something you definitely saw with Device. Every time he re-peeks, he peeks from a different angle, so that the other person needs to make sure that they're correcting their aim. Nonetheless, even after getting those picks, he's in an almost unwinnable situation, and I don't think he put much effort into this at all, as he just kind of jumps over towards middle. I think he should have worked everything a little bit slower because he still had quite a bit of time on the clock, and towards the end of that time he could have tried to go for something more desperate. I mean, after all, he's got 16k, so what's the worst that can happen? He saves his gun? Back to the inner take. This time it differs slightly as he throws some utility that his teammates usually throw instead. And he actually flashes out for himself, though I'm not entirely sure how effective it was. The flashbang his teammate threw at the bottom of the ramp, however, was very effective. Then he just wall hacked and shot at the guy through the box. I'm just kidding. Obviously someone had played in that position earlier in the game on the other side, and chances are it would be over there somewhere. Now I do want to rewind for a minute to bring up something important. Keep in mind, when connector's smoked off like this, you only need to peek the right side of the sidewalk up towards the train. Obviously he can't be on the left side watching down towards the ramp, and the only other place he can be is pushed up all the way near you, but the connector guy won't have time for that. Last round of the first half, and Flipside kind of expects them to have a little bit more money than they actually had. So EcoFox pretty much just has a couple CZs, a couple Deagles, and an M4. WorldEdit peeks things conservatively, jiggling around a lot and jiggle peeking a lot as he gets these picks. You know, most likely just in case someone on the other team did manage to buy an AWP. Right here, he hears the footsteps of a flanking CT, but the CT decides to come down ladder and his teammates take care of it anyways. Also, notice he didn't use any utility on that round, and for the most part of this game, he didn't have to use much utility because most of the executes were based on other people using utilities for setups and him just getting those picks with the AWP. Also, he just dropped 31 kills in the first half. That's 15 rounds. And honestly, he didn't really outplay his opponents, he outshot them, which is very different than the previous demo where we watched Device. Pistol round seems fairly standard. He's playing long range with the USP, which is wise because you just have to get that one tap. And when a guy actually pushes up on him, he does this little ladder move to get away from him. Now this not only keeps him alive for a second longer, I know he does die right afterwards, but it also sets his teammate up to get the kill. I said it before and I'll say it again, one of the best things to do in this game is to play slippery. Some days in Counter-Strike, the game just favors you, and this seems to be one of those days for WorldEdit's. So as you can see, he throws a nade to try to damage the rush, and also a smoke to try to discombobulate them as they're coming out. But after all, he just kind of practically sprayed 3 people down through the smoke, so there's not much else to say about it. And there he was peeking with his teammate to try to guarantee that kill, but Roka just hit some nutty headshot. So because they only need one more round to win, he knows the other team is going to buy up everything they can. This means he's going to force up an M4 and play with that instead. This is a very important spot to play on this map. Basically, he's just bobbing and weaving on the bomb train. Watch how he only peeks out as far as absolutely necessary to get the kill and then immediately hides even if he doesn't see someone. He's playing super slippery, and like I said, in this game that is incredibly smart. Peeking from a different location every time he re-peeks, trying to be as unpredictable as possible. Even if he doesn't instantly kill the guy that he sees, he manages to slip away and has another chance at it over and over again. Now he's in a 1v1, but he still technically has the advantage. In fact, because of how low the time is, he knows this guy has to actually come out here and plant, so all he has to do is juke this train. I don't think the way that he actually ends this game is the best way he could have played it. He's out in the open, and even though it is an off angle, he has to make sure he hits the shot because he has no fallback. I hope you guys had as much fun reviewing this demo as I did. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and as always, have a great day.